Hi, welcome back to my channel. I, like young Sheldon guest star Elon Musk, am on Twitter too much for my own good. I enjoy having an app that I can type little jokes into, even and especially the bad ones. I use it way more than Instagram or TikTok. A bunch of my friends are on there. I've been on the site for more than a decade at this point. It's my jam. And I can't believe I'm going to agree with Elon Musk on something, but I like that Twitter exists as like a virtual town square. Whenever there is a live event going on and I want to know what people are saying about it, I go to Twitter. When Chris Rock got slapped, when the midterm election results were coming in, when there's a big sports game going on, any live event, I go to Twitter. And I like to think that it exists as a net positive in the world. I know that my mental health would probably be a little better if I did not use Twitter, or even if I just didn't use it as much. But how else would I get to see that picture of Alvin and the Chipmunks on the no-fly list like every 3 months? What, am I going to set a calendar reminder? No! Additionally, I've had Elon Musk muted on Twitter since before the pandemic because I think he's kind of an annoying man. More than anything, the guy just seems like a thin-skinned narcissist who has convinced a lot of people that he is both funny and full of big ideas, when in reality, he is neither funny nor full of big ideas. I don't want to see memes with an iFunny watermark. I don't want to see him doing his epic trolling. I don't care how he manipulates the markets. I don't have any stock in Tesla, so I just made him be quiet. Whenever I see someone like AOC or Jessica Burbank or some other leftist quote tweet from an account that I've muted, I get to play a fun game where it's like, oh, is this Elon Musk? Or maybe it's someone else. Maybe it's Ben Shapiro. Who knows? The thing is, if he says something particularly ridiculous, people will screenshot it, and I will end up seeing it. He's one of those people that are so big on Twitter that muting him doesn't even mute him. It just kind of makes him quieter. It's less that I've thrown him in a soundproof room, and more that I've just put my headphones in and I'm trying to ignore him. But for this video, I'm unmuting him, and I'm even going to follow him because I'm going to be looking at his tweets a lot. And if I'm going to make a video about Twitter, I need to know what the owner of the company thinks about the website. Please pray for me. The first wrinkle in this whole saga is that Elon Musk was sued into buying Twitter. He said he would buy it for $44 billion. And Twitter said, yeah, that sounds good. And then he said, I actually don't think I want to buy it for $44 billion. And then they went to court. And then he had to buy Twitter for $44 billion. I didn't know that could happen. I didn't know if you were dumb enough. I didn't know you could be sued into buying something. Normally people get sued because they bought something and that thing went bad, and so they sued the person who made the thing. I didn't know you could get forced into making a purchase. I didn't know you could use the company's like primary product to say all the things you hate about the company and why you think it's bad. And then they go, okay, but you have to own it now. I didn't know that could happen. That's so funny to me. A big part of why it's funny to me is the price point. We'll get into that later. But now Elon Musk owns Twitter.com. Some of Elon's tweets leading up to and during his first week as owner have been pretty bad. They've not been good. First of all, he has declared that comedy is now legal on Twitter, and he has taken full advantage of that. Look at this rock meme he posted. If he would have posted that before he owned Twitter, he would have been in jail. He would have been thrown in the hoosegow for doing that. But now, he walks a free man among us. He also tweeted out that my girl Hill Dog was maybe lying and tweeted out a conspiracy involving Paul Pelosi, who, this is true, is an old man who was attacked. But, you know, you gotta represent both sides of the argument. Then he tweeted out that Twitter is a super intelligence. So maybe comedy is now legal on Twitter. Like, Twitter can be a fascinating tool, like, from a sociological standpoint, to see how humans react to major events and how human-to-human interaction works in an online space and all that. But Twitter is nowhere fucking close to a super intelligence. A super intelligence would come to the right conclusion, I'd say like at least 50% of the time. But Twitter hardly ever seems to come to a conclusion. Whether it's about a TV show or a celebrity or a sports team, it is infinitely easier to find two people arguing about something, disagreeing, and continuing to disagree, than to find two people arguing about something, disagreeing, and then one person comes to the other person's side. Elon also spends a lot of time fielding complaints from people now, promising them things that he's never going to deliver, because that's what he's done his entire career. He'll talk about allowing free speech in one breath and then quickly remind everyone, advertisers, that the rules of Twitter have not changed. He'll talk about how the company is bleeding money and he needs you to pay $8 a month. But then he'll say he didn't buy Twitter to make money. So then why do you care about my $8 a month? And then he'll talk about creator monetization and ask, how does monetization on YouTube work? Which, one, if you actually were interested in introducing creator monetization, you'd understand how other social media sites did it. And two, I don't think it takes a genius to figure out YouTube monetization. Sure, there's a bunch of little things, but broadly speaking, I think it's pretty easy to figure out the ways that YouTube makes and shares revenue. I just imagine him pacing the floor, going, wow, I see ads before YouTube videos. And people who make YouTube videos get paid somehow. I just can't. The most talked about change that Elon's bringing to Twitter, I've mentioned it a couple times, is that Twitter's going to start charging $8 a month for verification. According to Elon, somehow creating a paid tier and a free tier is going to bring about the end of Twitter's lords and peasants system. I'm still not exactly sure on the logic behind that one. Maybe Elon thinks that if he kicks out all the peasants, there will only be lords left. And that might be true. But Twitter advertisers need a lot of peasants if they're going to make their money. I don't know if any of you ever played Club Penguin, but I remember growing up, I would always have a free account on that website. Really, I had free accounts because I was a child and I could never remember my username and password. I would have done anything to get those party supplies, all the clothing items, go on adventures, have that membership badge. But that's when I was a child. Not a fully grown 23-year-old born boy. I've been using Twitter unverified for a decade now. I'm not paying for verification at this point. Also, if anyone can just pay to be verified, then that doesn't mean that they necessarily are who they say they are, which means that verification just fundamentally changes as a process. Also, I saw this crypto account talking about how if everybody gets verified, that's $2 billion in revenue for Twitter. And now I understand how so many crypto people got scammed. Getting everyone verified, not gonna happen. Getting half the people on Twitter paying for verification, also not gonna happen. I think they'd be pretty happy if they got like 10% of the user base. I think that would be really good for them. Like, those would be impressive numbers. And it seems like now there's going to be an official tag in addition to the verification tick. So the blue check no longer means what it really used to mean, except sometimes it can and sometimes it does. But also there's a new official verification that would show up underneath a username. And that means what the old verification used to mean, but people still have their same verification above the new verification unless they only got that top verification. Because, and if you're going to make new verification that shows up under the old verification, why not just leave verification alone and give Twitter Blue people a new stamp? Elon's also said that you can't change your Twitter display name without temporarily losing verification. Not your handle. I'm at Mr. Harry Miller, and it's one thing to change that, but to change your display name means you lose verification? Ay, ay, ay. The thing that people do all the time to show solidarity, or to show that they're going to be at a place, or that they do seasonally, or just, I don't know, because it's a fun thing to do. If you change that, you get temporarily unverified, and if you make your name Elon Musk, you get banned. A ton of celebrities have been doing this because, and this is true, it's very funny to make a billionaire so viscerally upset by making your display name his and then saying, hello, I'm Elon Musk and I'm a bad person. It also doesn't help that he cannot help but show that anytime he gets made fun of, it immediately gets under his skin. Because now, not only has he shown that he's critique worthy because of his connections to Ghislaine Maxwell, or his parents' emerald mine, or his inability to self-reflect, or how he's never actually invented anything and he's just bought his way into every company that he's in charge of. Not only has he done that, but he's shown that he's a little piss baby who throws a temper tantrum when people bring up stuff like that. Mark Zuckerberg might cry himself to sleep every night because people think he's a robot and a little weirdo and someone with all the personality of Pocketland. But he doesn't ban people off Instagram for saying those kind of things. Oh, you thought I was going to say Facebook, huh? Small-minded. We might as well be Natalie Portman in Black Swan because I'm keeping you on your toes. And also, Comes off so easy. I don't know why she didn't just do that in the movie. And even when those official tags that I was talking about earlier started showing up, people kept changing their name to Elon Musk. Because why wouldn't you? Now it says official under it. That makes the joke so much funnier. At a certain point, people who were verified couldn't change their display name at all. Like Doja Cat got stuck as being Christmas. And I got nothing against Doja Cat. But we can't let her be Christmas forever. She's got too much range. Also, if you ask me, who's the first woman pop star you think of when you think of Christmas? It's not Doja. You can't call yourself a free speech absolutist and then get upset when people start making fun of you. That's not how that works. I don't think anyone who says that they're a free speech absolutist actually is. Do you want death threats on Twitter? That's just speech after all. Because I don't. Of course, none of this is actually about free speech. It's about people with large platforms being able to spread transphobia and racism and bigotry and harassment in general. There are just sitting congresspeople and Matt Walsh and other people like them with large platforms who want to be able to go on Twitter and say that trans people are all pedophiles who should be in jail. They don't actually care if 2L744481JJR says some bigoted stuff to their 12 followers. That doesn't really matter. They just want large, prominent figures to be able to say those things without consequence. And I don't think that there's any way that Twitter can continue as a platform if hate speech like that is just allowed to happen. And I think the two kinds of people who leave if that sort of bigotry just is allowed to run abound are people with a conscience and advertisers. And you need both of those things if you want to keep a digital town square up and running. I can't believe that he spent $44 billion with a ill dollars, schmackaroos, bones. He spent that on Twitter. Twitter! The site everyone knows for being argumentative and insular and not growing. From my zero knowledge and zero research, it seems that Twitter is not like a big technology company. Meta has a lot of hardware to go along with their software and websites because they're betting on the metaverse, and that's where their focus is. Apple and Microsoft make computers and all sorts of other hardware that people are going to continue to buy. Twitter has an app and a website that were created in 2006, and a ton of people use the app. That's how they made $4.5 billion in advertising revenue last year. But they only made $5.1 billion in total. I say that like it's a small number. It's not. Like that's so much money. Point is, their business isn't selling ads. When 90% of your revenue comes from ads, that's where your business is. It's the internet. Ads are how the bills get paid. So to take that huge user base and then have Elon go, comedy is legal on Twitter now, which is like code for, hey, conservatives, you can say what you want to say on Twitter now. To imply that and then be surprised when advertisers go, maybe we don't do so much on the website where use of the N-word just went up 500%. Maybe we just pull back a little, see if things cool off, and we'll go from there. The hard truth for Elon to swallow is that people like Twitter because it has moderation. Parler and Gab and Truth Social and all those other alt-tech websites say, we're not kowtowing to the left. Free speech. And then they're left with only the most inflammatory users, which means advertisers don't really want to be associated with it, which means that the company loses money, which means that eventually they will close. People aren't going to pack up and leave for no reason, but if you give them a reason by making the user experience awful if you're not paying, or if it's just filled with hate speech, people are going to go. And if the people go, so do the advertisers. Elon Musk is a man full of contradictions, but not in a fun way where he's like an enigma wrapped in a mystery. He just wants to be able to do whatever he wants and to stop others from doing whatever they want if it upsets him. That's it. He wants to be universally praised and cannot understand why doing inflammatory things prevents that from happening. He claims he's a true centrist who doesn't agree with the far left or the far right, and then will only endorse Republicans and agree with quotes from neo-Nazis. Remember when I was talking about how there's two forms of verification on a profile, that little official sticker below it? Well, in about as much time since I last mentioned it, they rolled back the feature because it was a bad idea from the start. So now you can click on someone's verification sticker on Twitter and a little message will come up and it'll tell you if they're a noteworthy person or if they are wasting $8 a month. And after rolling this feature back, Elon tweeted, "Please note that Twitter will do lots of dumb things in coming months. We will keep what works and change what doesn't. So why not just not do the dumb things, huh? Why not do smart things and keep what works and change what doesn't?" Do you say anything today? I love when people complain about Twitter on Twitter. Crying, laughing emoji, as if it's impossible to use something that you don't fully agree with, or to think that everything that you use is in its perfect state and nothing could be improved upon. I mean, that's one thing. But also, like a few days before that, he tweeted, "Local Twitter complaint hotline, tell me what's going on down below." And then he was replying to those tweets. So he's telling people directly to complain about Twitter on Twitter. Oh my goodness. I'm getting worked up. Far too many corrupt legacy blue verification check marks exist. So no choice but to remove legacy blue in the coming months. So yeah, eventually it will just be either you've paid for Twitter and you got that sticker, or you're not paying for Twitter. And so you don't have the verification. So you just have to stop calling it verification at that point. Because it's not verifying anything other than that they have $8 a month to spend on Twitter. It's not verifying who they are. It's not doing any of that. Okay, it's the next day, and I have some updates. You know those official stickers that I said they added and then took away? Well, guess what? They're back again. But there's a huge caveat. They're only appearing on the accounts of advertisers. Coincidentally, there have been a string of accounts that are posing as major corporations and then tweeting with that little verification tick they paid $8 for, things that will cause the company to lose value, like posing as a pharmaceutical company and then saying that you are no longer charging for insulin, something that they definitely should do. That is the morally correct thing to do. It also caused a nice little dip on the real company's stock chart. Doesn't look like too much, but they lost $20 billion of market cap, whatever that means. And I can only imagine what those wealthy executives facing a less than certain economic future will look to their hearts and feel some empathy and will continue to fuck over the people who need insulin to live. Bernie Sanders quote tweeted the real company's tweet trying to clarify things and was like, "Hey, dickweeds, this is life-saving medicine that shouldn't cost Americans so much damn money." And when Elon tried to, actually, Bernie, the feature that provides additional context to tweets showed that, to no one's surprise, Elon was wrong and was defending corporate greed. At least he understands class solidarity. Someone else did a similar thing, this time posing as Lockheed Martin, and gave their stock a nice little 5% dip. Unfortunately, the company's still going to be solvent, but making Lockheed Martin lose value on Veterans Day is one of very, very few true acts of patriotism that involves a defense manufacturer. There are other examples, but this is why that official tag is back and why pay for verification is not going to last very long. And maybe Twitter won't either, but if it goes out of business because people are shit posting as Ted Cruz and Ben Shapiro and because they're causing real companies to lose money, I'm happy as hell to be along for the ride. Also, Doja Cat was able to change her name again. Thank God. And when she did, she changed it to Elon Musk. I'm sure there will be more news tomorrow. I'm sure there'll be more news even later today. But this is all the big stuff as of 1:54 a.m. on November the 12th. Back to you, Harry. If I could just talk to Elon directly. Elon, Bubby, I know it's tough when people are making fun of you. It's not hard for us, but it's tough for you. But I say, don't let the haters bring you down. Do you know how many fools are willing to defend your honor every step of the way? I'm sure some of them are in my comments right now telling me that I'm a cuck and that you're saving free speech and you're actually not the establishment. And if I want to criticize you, where's my $44 billion to buy Twitter myself? But I think you've managed to outdo yourself. You have wasted a gigantic sum of money and likely are going to tank Tesla's stock because of it, and have proven for all to see that you are completely unable to tell or take a joke. It's a little impressive, but I think you're going to get through this. You got through that Wario sketch on SNL. I don't see how this could be much worse than that. I promise that people changing their name to Elon Musk and then tweeting stuff like, "I shitted my pants," has no bearing on your actual life whatsoever. I'm constantly amazed that you're the CEO of two companies and owner of a third. And you spend all your time on Twitter. That's how good at time management you are. It has nothing to do with the difficulty of those jobs. You're the richest person on earth now. Just let the small stuff go. And maybe next time, don't buy twitter.com. Like, I don't understand how at not even like the price point, but how at any point in your life you were like, you know what I should do? I should buy Twitter. Why would you do that? Like, I guess that's why he thinks people will pay $8 a month, because he's like, well, I spent $44 billion to own the whole thing. Surely you'll pay $8 for your own little slide. No one's gonna. It's so stupid. Thank you so much for watching this video. I really hope you enjoyed it. If you did, and you wouldn't mind leaving a like, subscribing, I'd really appreciate that. My laptop got fixed. And by that, I mean, I'm like 90% sure the Apple Store just gave me a new laptop and said that they fixed the old one. But that means Big Cat Comedy Podcast is back. We're back. So if you want to go check that out, there's a link in the description. I'll put a card. Also follow me on Twitter while it's still here, so you can see all those little jokes that I tweet out and all the non-jokes that I retweet. Again, thank you very much for watching this video. It really means a lot to me. And hopefully I'll see you in the next one. Bye-bye. Yeah, guys should wear their hats like this. That's the cool way. That's the way that all the ladies like it. Did any of you see that thing on TikTok where a guy was like, oh, I wear my hat like this. Like, it can fall off my head, but I gotta wear it floating up. What do you want me to pull it down like this? And every single woman was like, yeah, don't wear it like that. You look stupid if you're wearing your hat like this. Pull your damn hat down. And all the guys were like, nah, when my hat's up, that's what gets the ladies going. Straight up not listening to the women who are directly telling them, ugh. I can't imagine how frustrating it is to be a woman every day of your whole life. But I think about that every time I put a hat on now. Every time I put it on my head, not atop my head, I go, ah, yes, this is praxis.